Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the Visa Bulletin, what it is, how to read it, how to understand it. If you have filed a petition for an alien relative, you know that the next step in the entire application process is to apply for a green card. However, not everyone can apply for a green card right away. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people apply for a green card. However, there's only a limited number of green cards available when it comes to being an immediate relative of a US citizen, such as a spouse, a child, or a parent of a US citizen. Every year, there is an unlimited number of immigrant visas available to those people. However, when it comes to all other immediate relatives, such as adult sons and daughters of US citizens or siblings of US citizens, as well as spouses and children of green card holders, they typically have to wait. In addition, people who are applying for a green card by employment also tend to have to wait until they're able to do so. Immediate relatives, depending on their relationship to the petitioner, have their own category assigned to them. And every year, these categories are placed in specific preference to see which ones will advance first and which ones will follow after those. And so the Visa Bulletin was created for that exact reason. Basically, the Visa Bulletin is a monthly publication that announces in the beginning of each month the types of visas, the types of family or employment categories, and when they're able to begin applying for their green card. The Visa Bulletin is published on the travel.state.gov website. And before we begin reading, there is 3 definitions that you need to know. The first definition is called priority date. A priority date is a date that decides your place in line, and a priority date typically depends on the time that you have submitted your petition. Your priority date will be listed on your I-797 Notice of Action. The next definition that you need to know is final action dates. So you can submit a petition for your alien relative who is either already inside the United States or who is currently living outside of the United States. And these 2 different types of applications receive their own timelines on when they can begin applying. And so final action dates are dates for those who are currently in the United States who are waiting to adjust their status. And the next definition you need to know is dates for filing. Dates for filing is the other table of dates available for people who are applying from outside of the United States. Those people will be filling out form DS-260, also known as application for immigrant visa. So let's go ahead and look at a sample Visa Bulletin that was published for May 2021. So as you can see on this website, when we scroll a little bit down, you will notice several different tables. The first table that you will see is called Table A, Final Action Dates for Family-Sponsored Preference Cases. The second table, Table B, is Dates for Filing. When you scroll down, you will see employment-based petition cases, final action dates for employment-based visas, and dates for filing for employment-based visas as well. All of these tables will be read the same way. For example, let's look at the Table A, Final Action Dates for Family-Sponsored Preference Cases. As you can see, on the left-hand side, we have family-sponsored column, F1, F2A, F2B, F3, and F4. These are different types of immediate relatives that you have petitioned for. If you scroll a little bit up, right here, you will notice definitions for each of these family preference categories. Next column is called All Chargeability Areas except those listed. And then you will see next columns China mainland born, India, Mexico, and the Philippines. All you need to know is the second column called All Chargeability Areas basically means all countries of birth, and except those listed means that China, India, Mexico, and the Philippines are exceptions to the rule. This is because every year there is a significantly larger number of immigrants that are born in China mainland, India, Mexico, or the Philippines. All other countries will be looking at this second column, and if you're born in any of these countries, you will be looking at these columns. As you can see, every preference category has either a date or a letter C listed next to it. The letter C basically means current. So what that means is currently there are visas available for this preference category. If you scroll up, F2A are spouses and children of permanent residents. So what this means is currently they are able to submit their adjustment of status applications. As you can see, all other rows have dates associated with them. This is where your priority date comes in. Let's look, for example, at F1 category. If the F1 applicant is born in all countries except Mexico and the Philippines, they are able to begin applying for adjustment of status if the priority date on their I-130 receipt is listed as before October 22nd of 2014. If the F1 applicant in question is born in Mexico, for example, they would have to wait until the priority date on their I-130 receipt is listed as anything before April 1st, 1998. Let's look at dates for filing for family-sponsored visa applicants. Again, this table is for those who are applying from outside of the United States. For example, in the F3 category, anyone from any country except Mexico and the Philippines is able to begin applying for their DS-260 via their local NBC if their priority date is listed as before June 22nd, 2009. However, if they are from the Philippines, for example, their priority date has to be listed as 1st of July, 2003. The same general rule applies for employment-based preferences as well. If you're applying for a green card by employment, obviously you have your own definitions of different preference categories. And again, there is two tables for those who are applying to adjust their status from inside the US versus outside the US. If you look at the employment-based table, you will notice that it is significantly larger. You can see that there are additional countries added on the list, such as El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Vietnam was also added to the list. Any worker in the first employment-based category currently is able to adjust their status, regardless of the country they're born in. However, for example, third preference categories born in mainland China will have to wait until their priority date on their petition is listed as before May 15th, 2018. So at first, this can seem very confusing. I know I was very intimidated by all of these tables when I first started looking at the visa bulletin. However, after a while, it does make a little bit more sense. All you really have to understand and know is your own priority date, and also know if you're applying from within or outside of the United States, and knowing your visa preference category. And at that point, it will be easier to log in the beginning of every month and to look at these tables and see if your date is approaching or not. There's a couple of quick notes to make. The first one is that if you see current under your visa category, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will stay current forever. So you should be collecting your documents and sending them in as soon as possible. Not to mention that under each of these categories, the number of visas is very limited. So it will happen on first come, first served basis. And another note is there are amazing YouTube channels out there that issue a video announcing what the visa bulletin looks like every month, and they will announce which categories can begin applying for a green card. So I will list out those videos in the first comment under this video, so you can go ahead and find it and hopefully you will find that useful as well. So I hope that this video was not super complicated. I try not to load my videos with too much unnecessary detail, but just the most important information. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know what other topics you would like me to cover. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are. Continue to stay safe y nos veremos en mis próximos videos. Adiós!